future of a Crown Corp takes center stage at the legislature. 2 people are charged for a homicide on a Thanksgiving long weekend. And a September to remember for fans of the Foo Fighters.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. The Sask NDP has accused the government of setting the stage for privatization in Saskatchewan. It leveled the accusation during the first question period of the fall sitting at the legislature. It comes as SaskPower reviews a plan for Saskatchewan's nuclear energy future. Wayne Mantika has the details.
The NDP opposition is convinced that the government wants to privatize SaskPower.
This is actually sincerely something I'm quite concerned about.
It points to a SaskPower governance review of future nuclear power ownership.
On Monday, we saw the Sask Party roll out a report on SaskPower, and right there on page 7 is a commitment to review the ownership of power generation here in Saskatchewan.
The government says it could either be SaskPower or a private interest that builds a small modular reactor in the province.
We have natural gas plants today that are owned by SaskPower. We have natural gas plants where we just simply buy the power from. As largely the renewable sector is not owned by SaskPower.
The government is firm, though, about SaskPower not being privatized.
We are not selling SaskPower. We are not selling the major Crown corporations at any time, nor have we ever discussed it. The NDP may have discussed it. We have not.
Nuclear power is still years away in Saskatchewan. The government believes it's premature to pick a direction at this point in the policy. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
The Saskatchewan government giving new powers to the Safer Communities and Neighbourhoods unit to identify and address abandoned or nuisance properties. Effective November the 1st, new changes will allow the unit to target properties deemed unfit for people to live in and negatively impact the health, safety, or economic well-being of the broader community near the property. They can then apply for either a court-ordered demolition or a forfeiture to seize the property prior to demolition. Graffiti and trafficking of stolen property are also being added to the list of issues that they can address as part of their duty to respond to complaints about buildings regularly involved in illegal activities. A man and woman have been charged with second-degree murder following the death of a man in Regina earlier this month. In the early morning hours on October the 13th, officers were called to the 100 block of College Avenue where a man was found dead. After an investigation, 22-year-old Tony Moffat and 24-year-old Andre Smith were charged with second-degree murder. Both made their first court appearance this morning. A man who pleaded guilty to aggravated assault in April of 2007 took the stand today as the trial of a man accused of killing Misha Pavlik continues. Sierra D'Souza Butts has more on what one of the 47 witnesses in this trial had to say.
Here at Court of King's Bench, jury members are hearing from a witness who is in close contact of the man accused of second-degree murder of 19-year-old Misha Pavlik in 2006. Scott Nelson, a man who pleaded guilty to aggravated assault in April 2007, taking the stand, describing multiple fights taking place the night of Pavlik's death. Nelson says he intervened in a fight between Pavlik and another man, Andrew Perkins, who was dating Pavlik's former girlfriend at the time. He told the court the knife he was carrying was not used on Pavlik, but rather on Derek Enns, a man police found bleeding from a stab wound near Highway 54 that same night. Adding, he pulled his knife out after he was hit by a beer bottle thrown by Enns, while the group of teens went back to fight Pavlik near the main bonfire. Nelson confirmed using a gold knife with an image of an eagle on it when asked by the Crown. After leaving the party, Nelson told the jurors, quote, the accused was bragging about getting him and stabbing him and the knives. Besides that, he wasn't acting erratic yet, not until we got to the highway. Through cross-examination, the defense asked Nelson if he stabbed Pavlik that night, to which he said no. Throughout the trial, the jury will hear from 30 more witnesses, including Pavlik's former girlfriend. Enns is expected to testify in court tomorrow. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
A key Crown witness testified it's possible the gun may have been fired by the victim herself in a Saskatoon murder trial. Saskatchewan Chief Forensic Pathologist Dr. Sean Latham took the stand on the fourth day of Andrew Rosenfeld's second-degree murder trial. Rosenfeld is accused of killing his girlfriend, Nakira Brown, who was found dead on November 15, 2022, inside the apartment she shared with him on Avenue P South. Latham testified the bullet that killed Brown was fired very close, less than a centimeter from her head. Latham testified it's certainly possible Brown fired the gun, adding that the wound could be classified as self-inflicted. The RM says most of its money, or the RM of Edenwald says that most of its money stolen in a fraud scheme over the summer has now been recovered, but the RM is still out about nearly $120,000 still. Fraudsters posing electronically as the wastewater authority for the RM of Edenwald and the town of White City was able to get a hold of $497,000 in illegal transfers in late July. According to an update, the RM has now recovered just about $377,000 from financial institutions. The breach did not involve the breach of any internal system, so as a result, no personal information was compromised. Well, in one of the worst kept secrets in Saskatchewan, the Foo Fighters are officially coming to Mosaic Stadium. Real announced the rock group will be playing one stadium show in Regina next September, one of 4 Canadian stops. Jacob Carr has fan reaction and what this means for entertainment in a Queen City moving forward.
In just under a year, the Foo Fighters will be playing in front of throngs of fans at Mosaic Stadium. For followers of the group, the excitement is palpable for the first live show at the home of the Riders in over 5 years.
There's going to be 25 tour buses that are rolling through. It's going to be a big set. And the fact of the matter that we are one of 4 places in Canada to get it and one of 12 in North America is absolutely huge.
The last show played inside Mosaic Stadium was Garth Brooks' 2-concert series in 2019. Representatives of Real say the process to line up the Foo Fighters took several months and are confident that the Queen City and beyond will pack the house on September 15th.
We feel much more confident that Regina's appetite for live entertainment, for large-scale venues, and the band's popularity as well. You stitch those two together, and the Mosaic Stadium, being the most modern CFL stadium in Canada, is an absolute perfect match.
Both Real and the city are hopeful that landing a big stadium concert is a sign of good things to come.
I think I want to see the momentum continue, and I think we're starting to see a bit of a shift, and really we're putting Regina on the map, and I think we're going to see not only Regina residents enjoy an amazing event, but also people traveling from North America coming to Regina.
Sutton's love for the Foo Fighters stems from his parents getting him into Nirvana, and now he is sharing his musical tastes with his younger sister.
I passed down the Foo Fighters to her, so the fact that she gets to see them live at 16 years old is going to be such a cool experience for her, because it's, you know what, it's a lasting lifetime memory, and there's going to be a time in her life where the Foo Fighters will never tour again, right?
Sutton says his all-time favorite Foo Fighters song is a tie between Learn to Fly and Everlong. He will hopefully get to sing along to all their hits in September if he's able to snag a ticket when they go on sale next week. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Last month, the Saskatchewan Roughriders announced its hope to allow tailgating for its home games next season. It's something the government is actually prioritizing as the fall session gets underway at the legislature. Donovan May says more on why the team is making this request.
Saskatchewan Roughriders CEO Craig Reynolds says there is only one reason driving the team's request to bring tailgates to Mosaic Stadium.
It's not about the revenue. It's about the experience and the environment. When there's a buzz and there's an atmosphere, you tend to sell more tickets. You tend to get people really, really excited.
Saskatchewan is one of only 2 CFL markets which don't allow some sort of tailgating. Reynolds first revealing to season ticket holders last month plans were in the works to to permit tailgating for Rider home games, with hopes they would begin as soon as next season.
It's the number one suggestion we get around can we make tailgating a possibility.
I couldn't have been happier.
The move welcomed by the Regina Exhibition Association, which would be hosting festivities on its property.
That just creates a more vibrant community that really helps every aspect of the Real District as well as the Riders in terms of building that Rider fan base. I'm all over it, hugely supportive of it.
Still, there are hurdles the Riders and the government need to cross.
There's just a piece of legislation right now that limits alcohol consumption and alcohol purchasing, and so that piece of legislation just needs to change. We would certainly look at that as we work our way through this, what essentially could be considered a pilot program as well, but it's simply because they asked.
Specifics on what the legislation may include are expected to be released as the government works through tabling its bill sometime during the fall session, which runs until early December. Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
Not sure if she'll be at Foo Fighters, but Sabine will definitely be at Mosaic this weekend for the Riders game against the BC Lions. We still got some weather to talk about beforehand. Not going to be too bad.
No, I can tell you for certain the weather at Mosaic Stadium is going to be beautiful, just as it has been today and will continue to be tomorrow. I have checked what the temperatures are going to be looking like at kickoff at Mosaic Stadium, and I'll tell you more about that coming up in your forecast. But in terms of temperatures today and conditions, nothing but clear conditions, a lot of sunshine. May have started out a little cloudy, maybe a little misty, depending on where you were in the province, but the sun appeared and has stuck around, and even the temperatures have remained above average. Taking a look, mostly southern Saskatchewan, but even areas up in the Buffalo Narrows, 10 degrees right now, 11 in Prince Albert, and even down around the Maple Creek area, 12 degrees. The average usually hovering around about 9 degrees. We warmed up to about 16 late this afternoon, and it's only getting warmer as we approach the weekend. But I will have all the details in your full forecast. Lee?
All right, thanks, Sabine. Winter in Saskatchewan is cold enough for people from here, but imagine being a newcomer. That's why a Regina couple is welcoming immigrants by providing them with a winter essential. Damian Smith has more.
Blanket number 122, personally crafted by Charlene Lutzer, will be a gift for someone special.
Well, I'm just always knitting blankets, and we give them away to newcomers because when they come to a cold country, they got to be warmed up.
Charlene is the wife of Harold Lutzer, who is the president of the Friends of Newcomers Regina. The not-for-profit seeks to welcome new residents from all around the world. Harold also tracks how many countries the people he has interacted with have come from. That number has now reached 160.
It's wonderful to get up in the morning and realize that at my age, almost 89, I can still be doing this and enjoy what I'm doing.
The couple has been married for 60 years now and credits Christianity in welcoming the 319 families they know to Canada.
And there's a verse in the Bible that says, I knit you together in your mother's womb and planned each day of your life before one of them came to be. So I give them that verse to go with it. Let them know that God knit them together.
The recipient of blanket 121 is Taha Soleimani, who met the Lutzers a few months ago at a gathering in their home.
So I came here alone, and I was surprised with the kindness of Harold and his wife.
Originally from Iran, Soleimani says that most of her family is back in her home country. When she met the Lutzers, she felt an instant connection.
The immigration journey is not easy. It's both challenging and rewarding at the same time. I told my parents as well and my family that you don't need to worry about me anymore because I have someone here who is as kind as you.
Charlene has made over 250 blankets for friends, family, and newcomers in hopes of keeping the community tightly knit. Damian Smith, CTV News, Regina.
Well, this afternoon, the Regina Police Service handed out positive tickets to drivers that were following crosswalk safety rules. Now, today's focus was to remind drivers, stop at crosswalk flashing red lights, even after the pedestrian has cleared their lane of travel. RPS is sharing this safety message ahead of Halloween next week, which, of course, is one of the busiest nights of the year for pedestrian traffic.
A lot of times I think the misconception is that police are just out there giving out tickets, and while enforcement is part of what we have to do, we also tackle education, and it's just nice with those partnerships to be able to reward good behavior and recognize people who do the right thing.
Well, technically, they were handing out tickets today because rewarded motorists received Regina Pats tickets, Rough Rider tickets, along with some team merch. Still ahead, the Liberals table a bail reform bill in Ottawa. And how well does the federal and provincial governments spend your tax money?
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
Ottawa tabled a bill today that cracks down on violent and repeat offenders. It comes after word the man shot dead by police in Niagara Falls on Wednesday was out on bail for a crime committed 2 years ago against the same woman who was murdered this week. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
Noon, shots rang out at this busy shopping plaza in Brampton, Ontario. A woman shot and killed, a child abducted. The man accused was awaiting trial for domestic violence charges involving the same woman, 29-year-old Savannah Kula. It's these types of repeat and violent crimes Ottawa is hoping to crack down on, with new measures announced today.
This is a package of sweeping reforms that includes more than 80 targeted measures that will make bail laws stricter and sentencing tougher.
The federal Liberal government has been accused of being soft on crime and for allowing a so-called revolving door justice system that's too lenient on violent offenders. The changes announced today are designed to make bail more difficult to get, creating a reverse onus that falls on the accused.
The accused must provide information that clearly demonstrates they do not pose a public safety risk.
The bill also introduces a new set of aggravating factors that will lead to stiffer penalties against violent and repeat offenders, as well as those who target first responders, organized retail theft, and crimes against public infrastructure. Victims' rights advocates, police unions, and some provinces have been demanding these types of changes amid a rise in violent and high-profile crimes. But not everyone is on side. The Canadian Civil Liberties Association says there is not enough evidence that shows bail causes crime, and they worry innocent people will be held in custody as a result.
We do worry that as we erode this charter right more and more and more, we'll get into a situation where just because you are accused of something before you have your day in court, you're held behind bars.
Asked about whether this bill will require more space in jails, the Justice Minister said provinces asked for these changes and should be developing the capacity to manage more people going through detention facilities. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
A setback for the union that represents Canada Post workers. Canada's Industrial Relations Board has ruled against the union in a challenge it made over the federal government's move to force workers to end their lengthy strike last winter. Ottawa brought an end to the strike during the busy holiday season by using a section of the Labour Code. The union attacked the move, saying it violated their right to strike. The board concluded the government did not violate workers' rights. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith says if a deal is not reached to end the province-wide teachers' strike, her government will introduce back-to-work legislation on Monday. The two sides do not have formal talks scheduled, but Smith says there is still time to reach a deal. Her government has already laid the required procedural groundwork to introduce the back-to-work bill. The strike is affecting 51,000 teachers and 750,000 students in schools across Alberta. Well, how do governments spend your money? It's an age-old question taxpayers should want to know. Now one of the country's top think tanks is out with its latest Fiscal Accountability Report Card. Scott Hurst breaks down the grades given to each province and the federal government.
It appears Ottawa is not quite making the grade in a new fiscal accountability report card. Now, we heard from the Prime Minister in his pre-budget address talking about generational investments, but also sacrifices. All the while, Canadians still have not yet seen the latest federal budget. And overall, that is one of the main concerns pointed out by the C.D. Howe Institute's report card on senior governments, saying too many budgets are late and most governments take far too long to produce their financial statements. Now, here is a look at where each province ranks, with Alberta coming in top of the class with an A+, Quebec earning a B+, a whole host of provinces coming in with a B, while Ontario earned a B-, and the federal government, as we've already talked about, earning a letter grade of D. Now, the report points to the feds being late in both its budgets and financial statements, presenting estimates using different accounting, burying some key numbers deep in its budget, and also having a large gap between its projected and actual results. And to make matters worse, Ottawa is on track to be the only senior government to potentially get a failing grade next year. Now, it should be important that governments are accountable to us. We are, in fact, the tax-paying citizens. Their money is our money. And as the report states, Canadians shouldn't have to be experts in reading balance sheets and annual reports just to understand how their money is being spent. So this provides a snapshot to the tax-paying citizens and those governments, of course, in a simple letter grade format. Now, this rating on senior governments is not so much about overall results, rather accountability, meaning are they providing reliable and accessible financial reports, ensuring the public, you and me, the tax-paying citizens, can know enough about our government's spending plans. And as the report simply points out, can taxpayers follow the money? Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Coming up, we might still be a few months away from Christmas, but a holiday staple is already being delivered around town.
Saskatoon Classic goes this weekend. Friday on Your Morning, we'll be on location with the details for the two-night competition, bringing together some of Canada's best riders.
Welcome back. Beautiful shot of Mosaic Stadium. We are getting closer and closer to that final regular season home game on Saturday. We'll talk more about that in just a second. Let's focus on today. 10 degrees is what we're currently sitting at, as I mentioned earlier. Oh, wrong way, that way, okay. 10 degrees is what we're currently sitting at, warmed up to 16 late this afternoon. Wind's not too bad, just under 10 kilometers an hour. Again, not a whole lot to show you when it comes to what type of active weather we saw come through the province, because it was quite a calm day and very clear. May have started out a little misty in parts of eastern Saskatchewan, but other than that, it's been nothing but sunny and clear for much of the day. Now, heading into this evening, we will start to see a little bit of this cloud cover start to roll through and develop in the east. A slight chance we could see some scattered precipitation in the form of rain in the Parkland early morning tomorrow, before you're probably even waking up heading to work. But by the time you are up and heading out the door, you will start to see a little bit of that cloud cover if you happen to be in the Parkland or even further up north around the Prince Albert area. For much of southern Saskatchewan, though, remaining clear throughout Friday until we get into Saturday. That's when we will start to see a mix of sun and cloud, light cloud coverage starting in the west, and then throughout most of Saturday, seeing that mix of sun and cloud. By Sunday, a different story. Cloudier conditions and the precipitation is arriving in the form of rain as of right now, because temperatures are still going to be above average heading into Sunday. So expecting some scattered precipitation primarily in the southwest, but we will see it making its way into the Regina area later in the day Sunday, and then even traveling up further into Saskatoon, Lloydminster, and then further up north. Temperatures, though, remaining similar to what we will see in our forecast today across the province. 11 degrees tomorrow for La Loche, 10 for La Ronge. Warming up to 15 for Lloydminster tomorrow with a mix of sun and cloud, 12 and a mix of sun and cloud for Prince Albert, and then warmer as we get closer to the southern border. 15 for Saskatoon and North Battleford tomorrow, 12 and mainly sunny for Yorkton, the southwest. 21 degrees for Maple Creek tomorrow with a mix of sun and cloud. 19 for Swift Current, mainly sunny, and 17 for Moose Jaw in the southeast. Similar story, 17 across the board for Weyburn Estevan, seeing mainly sunny conditions. Assiniboia could see a mix of sun and cloud, but also expecting 17 as the daytime high, and even tonight the low +2, which again I mentioned earlier, the average is about -3. Tonight warmer than average for us at -1, winds up to about 15. Tomorrow 16 degrees is the expected daytime high. Now today the expected daytime high was about 14. We warmed up to 16. Chances are we could see a little warmer than 16 tomorrow, but nothing but sunny conditions expected throughout the day. As for the next 7 days, this is what we're looking like, so enjoy your weekend, because we do have a little bit of a cool down returning, as in back to our average. But 16 and sunny on Friday. Saturday 19 degrees, and I did check, kickoff is at 5 o'clock on the dot. At kickoff, expecting a temperature of about 16 degrees, so a very nice night for football if you are heading out to the game. 14 and a mix of sun and cloud Sunday. Could see a little bit of that scattered precipitation, but also the high winds up to 50. And then by Monday, cloudier conditions, 8 degrees, 8 on Tuesday as well, with a mix of sun and cloud. And then it's not going to be until Wednesday, Thursday that we could see a little bit of that precipitation returning, and primarily on Thursday could be that mixed precipitation, a mix of rain and snow in the air. 9 on Wednesday and 6 by Thursday, bringing us back into that seasonal range. So the next 3 days, Lee, if you're planning on spending some time outdoors, it's the perfect time to do so, because it's going to be very nice.
Yeah, I still got some leaves to rake, to be honest with you. There's always leaves.
I mean, I can't say it's going to be windy, so don't bother, because it's going to be really nice. Sorry, I can't help you.
Yeah. I'll get the rake out. Thanks,
Okay.
Sabine.
Bye.
Okay, so the weather outside is anything but frightful right now. Still, there are some people in Saskatchewan getting into the Christmas mode with the delivery of a very special fruitcake. Mick Fable has the details.
Jim Hadfield is in Regina delivering some of his homemade fruitcakes, which are getting rave reviews across the country. He has been selling baked goods for 6 years out of his home in Milestone. What started out as a simple hobby has grown into a giant production.
I made 724 fruitcakes, a 20% increase over last year. And they go out all over Canada, all over Regina.
Because of the number of orders, Hadfield reaches out to customers in April, mapping out the Christmas cake order for the year. He begins baking in June, finishing in September.
It takes 3.5 hours to bake the cakes, and I can do 20 a day. I have 2 ovens, 5 in each oven, 3.5 hours, and while those are baking, I mix up the next. I start baking about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I continue on with the process every day.
This year, Hadfield is sending fruitcake to Vancouver Island, the Northwest Territories, and Newfoundland. He says there was no big secret to the 2 cake flavors impressing tasters.
One of them is my mother's recipe with changes, and the other one is sort of a recipe that I found, but I changed it. And with all my recipes for all my baking, I make them according to the way I think this should be.
Christmas cake orders for next year will begin April 2026. Hadfield plans to do the same amount again, but not much more due to time constraints.
I still need time to get everything ready to go, so that'll be it. And that's, I can only do 20 a day, so that's the way it's going to have to be. I think I'll have to cut it off at slightly over 700.
Quality over quantity, just another reason customers feel Hadfield's baking is the cherry on the cake for the holiday season. Mick Fable, CTV News, Regina.
Still ahead with Brett Lawther out with an injury, an American kicker is set to make his CFL debut this weekend for the Riders.
Wardrobe consideration in part by Colin O'Brien Men's Shop.
9 players were on the injured list considered out for the Riders' Saturday showdown with BC. That includes DBs Roland Milligan, Marcus Sales, Dante Myers, receiver, and kicker Brett Lawther, meaning American kicker Michael Hughes will make his first professional start. The Appalachian State University kicker was added to the roster October 7th. He's the all-time leader in field goal percentage for the Mountaineers, making 35 of 42 attempts over 4 college seasons. Kickoff is 5 o'clock at Mosaic Stadium on Saturday. Only Winnipeg has an American kicker as well. WHL last night, the Regina Pats, last time I checked, have put together back-to-back wins for the first time this season.
Breakaway, here he comes, he stops, waits, centers it, shot stop, rebound, score!
Caden Brown, a pair of goals along with 2 assists. The Pats secured a 6-3 win over the Lethbridge Hurricanes. Pats kind of dominated this game a little bit. They doubled the Hurricanes in shots. They'll try to make it 3 in a row tomorrow night versus Rebels in Red Deer. Lethbridge will head to Moose Jaw.
Back across, now guard, right side circle, fires, he scores!
Meanwhile, in Swift Current, Matthew Guard's 4th of the year was the game winner in overtime as the Rebels edged the Swift Current Broncos 4-3. Anthony Wilson did score a pair of goals in a loss for Swift Current. Broncos now 6-3-1. That's good enough for 5th in the Eastern Conference. They'll be in Prince Albert tomorrow. Well, tomorrow night, Toronto will host a World Series game for the first time in 32 years. We'll know tomorrow if Bo Bichette, is going to play in the series. While Game 1's starting pitcher for the Jays, we learned, just joined the team in September. Allison Hurst has more.
Preparations are in full swing as the Blue Jays get ready to host the Dodgers for Game 1 of the World Series.
Everybody says it's a dream come true, which it is.
Coming off a big Game 7 win, a world of media attention has descended on Toronto, and players are trying to keep calm and have fun for the Fall Classic.
I played some of my best baseball in my backyard as a kid, so I try to bring that with me out there, and hopefully that can be a little contagious, and the boys can just relax and enjoy it because it's a special moment that it may never happen again.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. says he was in touch with his mom earlier today.
She say she's proud of me, and no matter what will happen, she always going to be proud of me.
Fans are also proud the boys of summer lasted into the fall and are feeling good about their chances.
We're on a run, and we got them. No problem.
My gut doesn't lie. It's saying Jays in 6.
We're an underdog, but I think the boys can come through.
Tomorrow's starting pitcher, rookie Trey Yesavage, knows they're playing for a huge fan base.
We represent this entire country, and we're this country's team. So we want to go out there and do everything we can to make this country proud of us.
For manager John Schneider, this is a career in the making.
I'm just thankful and humbled that I'm the one doing it, leading them into the World Series.
The LA Dodgers arrived in Toronto last night, bringing with them their star-studded lineup, drawing huge international attention. Starting pitcher and heavy hitter Shohei Ohtani, who was rumored to come to Toronto for the 2024 season.
He was a once-in-a-lifetime guy on your roster, but here we are, and I'm going to have to face him at some point.
Fans lined up early and all day, hoping to get a piece of the merchandise.
One of those nice World Series hats and maybe a T-shirt.
I was able to get some stuff for the older ones, but not for the baby. They have stuff for babies, but not World Series branded stuff.
Excitement and anticipation mounting ahead of Game 1.
Well, it's being called a historic takedown, allegedly involving mafia families and both former and current NBA players. U.S. authorities accusing more than 30 people involved in 2 separate schemes, including sports betting and rigged poker games. John Venevali Rao has the details.
The stunning charges coming just days after a brand new NBA season tipped off, with these current and former players, including a Hall of Famer, among those accused, following investigations involving sports betting and rigged poker games linked to the mafia.
We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery.
U.S. authorities laying out 2 separate schemes. The first involving Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, who was arrested along with former NBA player Damon Jones. Investigators say they provided information about games to co-defendants who used it to place illegal bets.
The non-public information included when specific players would be sitting out future games or when they would pull themselves out early for purported injuries or illnesses.
You got to keep fighting.
Authorities say one example took place when Rozier was playing for the Charlotte Hornets in 2023. They say he let others secretly know he planned to leave a game early with a supposed injury.
Rozier exited the game after just 9 minutes, and those bets paid out, generating tens of thousands of dollars in profit.
For more than a year, authorities in New York have been looking into illegal gambling after Toronto Raptors player Jonte Porter was caught disclosing information to bettors. The NBA banned him for life. Authorities say the second indictment involves Jones and the head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, Chauncey Billups, who allegedly took part in illegal poker games rigged by the mafia using high-tech cheating devices, including X-ray tables that could read cards.
Victims were attracted to play alongside well-known professional athletes and coaches like Chauncey Billups, only to be unknowingly deceived through rigged shuffling machines.
The NBA says Billups and Rozier are being put on immediate leave and that it'll continue to cooperate with authorities. John Venevali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Coming up, training workers for the nuclear industry at Sask Polytechnic.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at your rural forecast for tomorrow. Still expecting to see above seasonal temperatures across most of Saskatchewan and a little bit more sunshine continuing as we head into the weekend. Let's take a look. Hudson Bay, 10 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud, warming up even more over in the west there. Kindersley, 18, 17 for Outlook, and then Watrous expecting to get up to 15. Lloydminster also expecting a high of 16. Meadow Lake and Wynyard, 14 degrees, in Spearwood, Melfort 13 with a mix of sun and cloud. Closer to the southern border, temperatures even warmer, especially in the southwest. Leader, 20 degrees tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud, 21 for Maple Creek, and 18 for Coronach, 17 for East End Cypress, Assiniboia, Rosetown, 16 for Lumsden, Pilot Butte, Broadview, and Rockland. If we take a closer look at Duck Lake, located about 95 kilometers northwest of Saskatoon tomorrow, expecting to warm up to 14 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud, winds picking up to 30. The 14-degree high will actually feel closer to about plus 12.
Following a recent announcement about nuclear technology earlier this week, Saskatchewan Polytechnic is launching a new training center for workers in that sector. The Western Canadian Nuclear Training Center launched during a workforce training and supply chain event. The new center is meant to deliver nuclear-specific training to grow the workforce for small modular reactors and other nuclear technologies.
Nuclear skills is about 10% of the workforce, but skills for nuclear is about 90% of the workforce, and that's where Saskatchewan Polytechnic comes in. That's our mandate, is to develop the skills that industry needs in this province to be successful. So when you look at nuclear, civil engineering technology, welders, electricians, instrumentation people, power engineering people, those are the skills that we teach now.
He went on to say one course is being offered in December, and there's already a wait list for the second one. A new hub at the University of Saskatchewan hopes to unite the efforts of entrepreneurs on campus. A gift from alumni Bernie Slogotsky and Theodore Hunt. The new center will support student ventures, faculty innovation, and community partnerships. It's also meant to strengthen the entrepreneurial ecosystem in the province by creating connections across Canada and around the world. The $5 million gift will help with programming and staff at the new center, which will be located in the Edwards School of Business.
This center represents access to innovation, to collaboration, and mentorship that turns ideas into action. It creates a space where students can take what we learn in the classroom and apply it in ways that make a lasting difference. As a student and cooperator of Robertson Valley Farm, I've seen firsthand how entrepreneurship blends with creativity and responsibility. Running a seasonal agriculture business with my partner has taught me that success isn't measured only by profit, but by purpose.
The university says programming at the center will help students, faculty, and researchers speed up their ideas from concept to impact. Hundreds of students came together under one roof in Melfort today to hear inspiring stories as a way to support mental health. As Jasmine Pelche reports, one of the speakers was a Saskatchewan mother who knows all too well the pain and heartache.
Kyla
Thompson shared her daughter Bella's story of bravery and resilience in front of hundreds of students.
Just 11 months after receiving her life-saving bowel transplant, the surgery that finally gave her freedom from the pain of her failing bowels, I lost my daughter. Now I've had to learn to be braver than I've ever been before. Brave enough to keep going, brave enough to keep sharing her story.
Thompson gave the presentation at the annual Youth Matter Canada Mental Health Symposium in Melfort, hoping Bella's story could help youth who are struggling.
Everyone has some really difficult stories, and I just hope to be someone, a family that understands, and if they can feel that connection and I can help them get through something really difficult in their life, that matters to me for sure.
The students age 11 and older heard from different speakers throughout the day, sharing stories of resilience. Students say the symposium has helped them learn about mental health.
I've learned different strategies to help with my own mental health. I've struggled due to bullying and such in my past in elementary school. But these symposiums and meeting other people and hearing their stories have taught me how to be brave.
There are many people that suffer from mental health issues that don't get proper treatment soon enough.
Laura Lawrence says she founded the symposium to inspire youth.
We just really hope that the youth feel a sense of community and connection, and that they're inspired to just take one action to help support their mental wellness and to always remember that they matter.
The symposium has been running since 2019, and this year, 15 schools were in attendance. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Melfort.
Markets both on the way up today. The TSX up 203 points, while the Dow Jones went up by 144 points. As for that Canadian dollar, it went up slightly, 0.02 of a cent, to 71.49 cents U.S. Commodities, gold has gone up $27.86. West Texas Intermediate crude up $3.29, while Western Canadian Select crude is up $1.03. So has that impacted the price of gas in Regina, you ask? Not yet. It's commonly sitting right now at $1.33.9 per liter.
Reported a profit of $2.4 billion U.S. for its third quarter. That's double what it made in the same quarter last year. The company is seeing strong sales of trucks and SUVs, but a fire at a key aluminum supplier could cost Ford as much as $2 billion. They rely on the metal to build pickup trucks. Ford is revising its earnings outlook as a result. It now forecasts to be $6 to $6.5 billion. That's $1 billion less than what it was. And car sales helped to drive retail sales in August. They were up 1% to just over $70 billion. Sales of cars and parts moved up 1.8%, with more new vehicles being purchased than used. But gas sales were down in August. They dropped 2.6%. Rogers Communications beat expectations for its latest quarter. The company did well in wireless and media. Total revenue came in at about $5.4 billion, up 4% from last year. Rogers gained 62,000 wireless subscribers, and in media, the Blue Jays' extended season helped to boost its bottom line. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
Coming up tonight after the newscast, Hell's Kitchen, followed by 911 Nashville. Not the one in space. Grey's Anatomy at 9 o'clock, Georgia Mandy's First Marriage at 10, E-Talk at 10:30, then at 11 o'clock, you've got your national news, 11:30 local news. At 12 o'clock, I don't know. The team behind the Netflix show Stranger Things is sharing some big news as the series prepares to come to a close.
I think about that night all the time.
Obsessed with the show. Netflix says a 2-hour finale of Stranger Things will debut on streaming and in select theaters in Canada and the U.S. simultaneously on New Year's Eve. It's been more than 3 years since the coming-of-age sci-fi show had a new episode. Company officials had previously told Variety a theatrical release was not in the cards, despite a push from creators the Duffer Brothers. The first episodes of Stranger Things Season 5 are out November 26th, and I cannot wait.
So almost a month away.
So close. We've waited a very long time.
That's been a while.
Yeah. One of Taiwan's most well-known wartime attractions is echoing with beautiful music.
It's a Small World's really gone downhill, hasn't it? The Kinmen Tunnel Music Festival sold all 1,200 tickets in 2 minutes.
Wow.
The tunnel was built during the height of the Cold War to shelter supply boats from artillery shells from China. 200 people at a time had a chance to attend one of 6 shows to hear cellos and violins in this unique venue. So a rather intimate crowd to watch the performance.
I mean, it's all about the experience, right?
Absolutely. That actually is kind of cool. So probably way better than Small World than 1,000 creepy animatronic kids going, "It's a small world," and then the arm breaks off. It's terrible.
Who hurt you?